Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. Welcome to Power of Knowing Forums, Regenesis Talks, LinkedIn Live episode 221. Uh, Today, we are discussing on the topic of synergy, what unlocks women and men driving growth together. To have this topic discussed, we have the honor of having Angela, Thomas, Rajiv, and Sunil joining us today. Without further ado, let's welcome our speakers onto the podcast event. Over to you, Angela.
Thank you, Prem.
Thank you.
Uh, Thank you,
Thank you.
Prem. Yes,
Thank you, Prem.
welcome to our second session of the series, discussing men and women as co-creators of wealth. When we talk of wealth, as we mentioned last week, we talk of what we call true wealth. Wealth in its broader sense, historically and systemically, in the context. We talk of societal well-being, sustainability, the well-being of humanity as a whole. This week, as we continue to celebrate the contribution of women to the true wealth of society, we want to look at what has been blocking women and men from driving wealth together. First, I think it's very important that we highlight the research that backs up the importance of real collaboration, like that from McKinsey and Catalyst, which demonstrates that organisations with gender diverse leadership teams outperform their peers by 25% in profitability and 35% in innovation. Now, I'd like to start today's session introducing three systemic shifts, which I and we at Regenesis truly believe are needed to create great balance and synergy. One, rewiring governance. That is, ensuring that decision-making structures embrace diverse thought processes. Two, holographic systemic change. By this, we mean designing businesses that function as ecosystems, where masculine and feminine intelligences create more adaptive, resilient organizations. And three, scaling inclusive value creation. We're talking here about moving beyond profit-focused metrics to measure success by impact, sustainability, and societal well-being. So to explore how these ideas are being applied in practice, I'd like to bring in Thomas Welsh. Thomas, could you share how Regenesis is actively working with organisations to raise them to the next level of co-creation, performance effectiveness, and health?
Sure. Thank you, Angela. And I guess the message we're bringing you is that Regenesis is actually established to help organizations become all that they're capable of being, to elevate themselves to the next level of performance, effectiveness, and health by embedding systemic balance in governance and management. That's our raison d'etre. And we do that by introducing ways of working for managers and executives and directors and founders and people that lead organizations, introducing ways of working that allow them to make the best of all the people and opinion resources and intelligence resources that they have at their disposal. That's the essence of Regenesis. And from that, what we realize is we already have a lot of potential for growth in our organization that we're not using. So there's three big things that I'd like to mention in today's segment from me, which is I'd like to talk a little bit about Regenesis as a model. I'd like to talk beyond leadership to whole system management, because leadership in the end is just a part of what really great management should look like. And I'd like to talk then about, so if you do these things, what's the measurable impact? And maybe I'd like to start by referring you to research from the Harvard Business Review, showing that teams with cognitive masculine and feminine diversity, in other words, men and women working together in all the different types of personalities, they both bring to the party, make decisions 60% faster and with better outcomes. That's an amazing number. That's not like 5%. This is 60% faster and with better outcomes. That's an extraordinary statistic to start. So if we move from that, just that single insight, to Regenesis as a model, what we end up with is a practical framework for integrating masculine, object-oriented, and feminine, relationship-oriented intelligence at all levels of an organization. And that starts, obviously, when you're beginning to strategize. You're beginning to set about clarifying the mission and vision and values and vital few of an organization. Because thinking that through well allows you to conceive and believe in an organization that can persist, can go on to grow and develop and become more, and become long-term prosperous and add long-term value to the world. It then moves through into how we work together. So if we can be both goal-focused and relationship-oriented, we can work together much more effectively as a team. And then we can help individuals become all they are capable of being and adding their maximum contribution to the organization. And then we can begin to say, okay, what about creating new ideas? How can we innovate? So all of that becomes much easier to do once you begin to integrate all these different types of intelligences. Once you've done that, you're then beginning to set the scene for an organization that has great processes and can grow readily into all the ways that it can expand. And in doing that, what we're doing is going beyond leadership to a whole system management. True organizational health comes, as we said, from balancing strategy, execution, relationships, and adaptability. And that's what whole system management looks like. It has all those qualities. And why do we do that? Well, quite simply, the research takes us there again, which is companies that actively integrate diverse feminine and masculine leadership styles report 19% just from this alone from higher innovation revenue. So that just comes from men and women working together in their kind of respective intelligences, work better and they innovate better. And that comes from BCG research. So I don't know that I want to say a lot more because this isn't really about Regenesis. This is about co-creating a better future. And I'd like to hand back to Angela now to actually take us on to the next piece of this discussion.
Thank you, Thomas, for those valuable insights. The Regenesis model certainly focuses on systemic growth, sustainability, and well-being for all involved, men and women, for the principles of co-creative wealth. Now, let's take a closer look at how those principles can be applied at scale in large organizations and boardrooms. Rajiv, maybe you can say something here about what do you see as the key shifts needed to create true synergy in governance and leadership?
Thank you, Angela, for that. I have all my life been working in boards, and I have seen how large organizations and the boards become better with the combination of men and women. In fact, if you ask me honestly, as a part of the corporate governance practices in India, the SEBI, which is the Securities and Exchange Board of India, has made it mandatory for the boards to have a woman director. So the large boards have to have one independent director who is a woman director. So they are trying to make sure that there is a gender diversity and the involvement of women is always there in the boards. And I have to, I have seen to my surprise that suddenly the atmosphere in the boardroom becomes better when there is a woman director present, and the more and more women directors are involved into the boardroom, and this is becoming a trend in India. So that is where I think the private boards can unlock a better performance and sustainability through this balance. And I would like to cite Deloitte's research, which shows that the companies with gender balanced executive teams achieve up to 41% higher return on equity. So, this is a very, very startling number, because if you achieve a better return on the equity just because your board has a fair number of balanced gender equality, I think this research report itself is making lots of statements. So the key points is basically the governance transformation, the business case for diversity, and of course, sustainability and risk reduction. So, if you look at the governance aspect of it, boards must shift from traditional hierarchical decision making to collaborative intelligence structures. These days, the financial performance is always considered to be on the top. And there is also a report of McKinsey, which I would like to quote, where they have mentioned diversity wins, and it shows that the top, firms with gender diversity are 25% more likely to be profitable. So it's almost same as what Deloitte report says, and this is a proven fact. So it has been uh, actually vetted by lots of top firms in India and abroad. So it's a global truth. Uh, and also, I think for better, risk and management part of it, so better decision making and group thinking can be enhanced, and corporate governance itself becomes better. That's what the Securities and Exchange Board of India also thinks. So I think that itself shows that how serious governments are to implement this gender diversity. If we look at the business case for diversity, there is evidence from Peterson Institute of International Economics, which shows that the firms with more women in C-suite positions are 15% more profitable. So again, there's another case study. So somebody is saying 25%, somebody is saying 15%, somebody is saying 41% a higher return on equity. So that means there's a unanimity in all the consulting firms, which they normally sometimes they differ. In this case, there is a absolute unanimity that, oh, we can definitely manage this better if you have a gender diversity. The other point which I would like to touch upon is the sustainability and risk reduction, where mixed gender leadership teams demonstrate better risk assessment and long-term strategic thinking. So, because these days ESG has become a buzzword in India as well. The government of India is very serious on how ESG is implemented in India. So ESG means environmental, social, and governance factors which impact the investors, and it actually improves the long-term sustainability of the organization. So I think this trend is catching up. So more and more boards are becoming gender neutral. We have seen increase in the board members who are from the fairer sex, and of course the companies like PepsiCo. We had Indra Nooyi, who was internationally heading the company itself. She was earlier CFO. She became the head of the organization. And also we had, Tata Group, where more gender diversity is being pushed by the new chairman, and also Nasdaq. And I have seen in many companies this is becoming a buzzword, that how to create that gender equality. So these are the inputs I wanted to share with you. Over to you, Angela.
Great. Thank you very much, Rajiv. That was incredibly enlightening to hear about the increasing gender diversity in India and the impact it's having. It's also evident there's a lot of research out there, much worldwide research, how larger organizations and public-private boards can unlock better performance and sustainability through equal partnership of men and women. More collaboration is needed throughout the organizational structure. More balance in male-female leadership benefits organizations' profitability, strategic planning, and, as you said, risk-taking, governance factors, and organizational sustainability. So now let's shift our focus to the world of startups and MSMEs, where these dynamics can be a game changer. Sunil, could you share what needs to be done to enhance success rates and performance in smaller enterprises?
Thank you. Thank you very much. In fact, the women entrepreneurship is a basically very, very focused area of the government of India. And I'm proud to share with you that recently uh, in one of the public forum, government of India and the Prime Minister has just stated that whatever loan government has given for the small businesses, that is around 19 lakhs crores Indian rupees, and you will be surprised to know that 70% have been received by women entrepreneurs. So that basically explains the focus of the government, how to help this women entrepreneur to come in the stage and add value in the growth journey of the country. In 2018, I think this government has put one that is very, very decisive platform, that is called Niti Ayog. So this is a high level of government platform where they support the startups, they support the new entrepreneurs. So Niti Ayog has launched WEP, that is called Women Entrepreneurship Program, and that is a unified access portal to bring women from different part of India and create ecosystem to nurture their entrepreneurial aspiration. So what I'm trying to say here, that shows that how this government, Indian government, is basically focused, and how this Indian government is trying to bring the women in the mainstream and give them opportunity to add value. There are a lot of schemes. One is called Bharatiya Mahila Bank scheme, Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for micro and small enterprises, the Dena Shakti schemes, the Udyogini schemes. So there are various schemes. I'm just naming some of them that basically already exist, and that is supporting this women entrepreneur in India. I'd like to refer a Q study from First Round Capital, which found that a startup with a female founding partner, they are having 63% better than all team members, and better success rate. So that is very, very important, and that shows the light that how women can contribute in the success of a startups. I would like to add here two, 3 points. The first important point for the startup, I have mentored around 60 startups in my journey. And I have seen that the startup which is having one of the female founding members, that brings the difference, that brings the different type of energy in the startups. So the highest performing startups apply both analytical and relationship intelligence in their decision making, and that ensures that the success rate of the startup who has this founding, one of the founding members as a female, that is more. The second important is entrepreneurial success factors. So this is not, I am saying with the fact that BCG, Boston Consulting Group, has done some survey, and they have found that the success rate of women entrepreneurship is 10% higher revenue over time than the men entrepreneurship. The third is adaptive growth strategy. We all know that the thought process, the different type of thought that comes in the boardroom of the startup, that is very, very important. You should not, should have one thought, one aligned state thought. You have to, you should have thought from different angle, different perspective, different mindset. And when women comes in the board, what Rajiv was explaining, that in India now it is mandatory that you should have one woman at least in the board. So I have seen that when women is in the board, and particularly in a startup and MSME, so then that they bring the different thought process, different aspect uh, of the brainstorming sessions, and different aspects of the business, and that helps in adapting the right strategy, and that basically ensures that the growth journey is in the right direction. So those are the small things that matters a lot. And to be honest with you, Angela, I have seen that the whole world is now basically understand the women power, and every country is trying to bring women at the mainstream, and they are now focused. The step of bringing one woman in the board in the Indian company, that itself is a revolutionary step, and this is adding value both in a startup as well as in MSME. Over to you, Anjali.
Thank you, Sunil, for highlighting the impact in the case of startups, and for the further evidence of the unique contribution women make to enterprise when they share full partnership with men. It's clear your government is invested in bringing a more equality to small enterprises in India, and this is helping them grow. And we know male and female brains work differently, and in your own experience, you've witnessed the positive gains of including that difference in perspectives and thought processes. That's really encouraging to hear. Now, let's bring everything together and explore what this means for the future. Let me now summarize the key themes and the bigger picture for all of us. We're living at a time of tremendous change on every level, where old ways of governing, believing, and relating are shifting, allowing for another order of reality. This change leads us to explore our cultures, habits, and responsibilities, and get beyond old inhabiting structures. And this invites us to make choices for new possibilities and to be co-creators of the design of the social structure for the future, one that enhances life, we hope. It clearly takes efforts of consciousness and determination to step outside the box, and women have to play a very critical management role in making the change happen. But what is required is more, and it will not come about unless we really have a deep partnership of men and women, and also in many other cultures. I'd like to tie together the discussion by emphasizing that prosperity demands men and women as co-stewards. To draw your attention to a UN report showing that gender equality economies could add $12 trillion to global GDP at today's 2025 values. So just summing up again, the key takeaways of today. First of all, integrated intelligence is the future. As we said, the best organizations intentionally design decision-making structures that reflect diverse feminine and masculine perspectives. Secondly, real wealth requires balance. As we said, societal progress and business successes are intrinsically linked to how well we integrate different ways of thinking. And lastly, action for change. Businesses, governments, and individuals must commit to transformational structures to maximize the impact for us all. And this brings us to a vision for the future. Just imagine a world where organizations, economies, and societies function as dynamic, thriving ecosystems, where every decision is enriched by the full spectrum of intelligence available to us. Imagine a world where companies don't just chase short-term profits, but build lasting prosperity for employees, communities, and the planet. Just vision where governance fosters inclusion, risk is balanced with wisdom, and innovation flourishes because we are finally thinking holistically. This is not an abstract ideal, it's an achievable reality if we commit to integrating the strengths of both masculine and feminine intelligence at every level. The future belongs to those who embrace this imbalance, and together we can create it. So there are 3 irresistible gains from implementing this co-creation approach. Unstoppable business growth. Companies that integrate diverse feminine and masculine leadership styles consistently, firstly, achieve higher revenue, innovation, and resilience. Secondly, achieve wiser decision-making. Teams using cognitively diverse feminine and masculine intelligence solve problems faster and with greater accuracy, leading to greater long-term strategic success. And thirdly, a sustainable and thriving world. Economies, organizations, and societies that embrace synergy between masculine and feminine intelligence unlock greater prosperity, well-being, and sustainability for all. I'd like to help you as attendees explore how Regenesis can help your organization implement these shifts, and to think about what is the one thing you and your organization or industry can do now to benefit from the growth and gains we have outlined here today. And what's the benefit for you and your organization? You can text me here on this platform or on any of our LinkedIn addresses. We'd really like to hear from you. So moving on to our next session, it will be session 3 of this series, co-creation. And we're going to focus on how do we co-architect a future of true wealth. The core themes will be the role of integrated leadership in building economic resilience and sustainability, the shift from competition to cooperation, why both men and women need to move beyond old paradigms, and designing wealth creation systems that reflect diverse feminine and masculine leadership inputs. Thank you. Can I hand over to you now, Prem, just to close?
Thank you, Angela, for that. I think with this, we have come to the conclusion of our episode today, and what we are celebrating is the women's empowerment to have the whole series run. So, as Angela rightly said, we are having more sessions coming up next week, and with this, I would like to thank everybody who joined the session today, and conclude this session for the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prem.
Thank you.
Prem.
Thank you, Prem. Thank you.